All right. Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us at the Alaska MEP. I know us here in Alaska, we're all happy to be seeing some warmer temps and some sunshine. And we've got a really great speaker set up for us today. And then I have my fabulous co host, Megan, who's also joining us. How are you doing, Megan?
I'm great. Thanks.
Well, thank you for being here. And then we have Michelle Jones, and she is president of Creativate. And we're super excited to dive in and learn more about your business and how you help manufacturers and marketing. So, to kind of get this ball rolling, get us kicked off, could you tell us a little bit about your journey into marketing and manufacturing, construction materials, and like a little bit about your background and what really drew you into this field?
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I dreamed of being in industrial marketing and construction. I'm just kidding. Construction, marketing, industrial materials and products. No, I'm just kidding. Like most of us, I believe we do a lot of work in roofing. And a lot of people, you get into these types of industries two ways. You are either born into it or you get into it by accident. I got into it by accident. So my undergraduate degree is in marketing. The joke in my family is that if I was sick as a kid and everyone knew I was better when I had scissors and glue and crayons in my hand and I was coloring again. So I've always had very much a creative brain, but I also had the left side brain. So I was a marketing major and accounting minor, which has served really well in business to have both the right and left side dynamics going on. So I worked at a hospital straight out of college. I actually moved to Washington, D.C. and worked in government relations for a brief period of time. I lobbied for small and women-owned businesses, including women construction owners and executives, women in public policy. We had some really amazing small business and micro business, American Association for Micro Enterprise. So small business is my passion. I was raised in small business. My parents were both small business owners growing up. And then I got my MBA from Case Western Reserve University, replied to a classified ad, a decade ago. No, more than a decade ago. I'm getting old. And maybe the last millennial to get a job from a classified ad, but I got it. And it was for an industrial coated fabrics manufacturer. I'm like, this is cool. I don't know what they do, but they do this really cool thing called issuing you a paycheck, and I'll take it. So I'm starting now. So that's why I stumbled into the wonderful world of industrial coated fabrics. And one of those ended up being roofing. One of the divisions was roofing. They had geomembranes, architectural fabrics, all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I got in those industries, and I've worked since for an industrial pump manufacturer, which was the second largest division of a multi-billion-dollar company, publicly traded company. I worked briefly for an architectural products manufacturer, and then started my own company. And we primarily focus on either industrial manufacturing, commercial building products, or the services that support those two types of industries. And we are female owned, and actually we are an all female company at this point too. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Amazing. How many people are on your team?
We have 6 now. So 4 full-time, 2 part-time, and most of us are in the Northeastern Ohio area, but we also have Chicago and Atlanta area. So yeah, we're growing and we're having fun doing it. So it's fun. I've jokingly called it a corporate recovery program because all of us have worked for big corporate companies. And so it's fun to just be like, in a small industry, like small group, we get to see all the stuff that goes on at all of our clients, and all the, sometimes it's not who you think that has all the chaos and the drama. So, but yeah, we love what we do, and we're passionate about marketing. We're passionate about helping small businesses grow. And I wake up every day blessed that this is what I get to do. I love doing stuff like this too. So this is a lot of fun. So I'm really excited to be here today.
Wow. No, that is amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that background. And I love that you had kind of accidentally fell into this role, and like, look at it now. Like, it's just like such success and female owned, and that's amazing. And this wasn't on list of questions, but talk to us about your name. You have a really cool name, and you talked right before we got on live. So can you share what Creativate means?
Yeah. So Creativate is create plus cultivate plus innovate. So to me, it's kind of like the 3 stages of specifically marketing, but business growth and development. You like create the business, you create the plan, you create the value proposition, you create whatever it is, and then you cultivate your community, and you create, cultivate, innovate. You cultivate your community, you grow your business, you kind of get that flywheel going for inbound, and then you innovate from there. So whether it's products, services, partnership with your clients, you are always kind of on this wheel of creating, cultivating, and innovating. So I think if you remove any one of those pieces from business, it's going to be tough to really grow and thrive. So like good marketers do, we love to mash words together. So that turned into Creativate, which also to me had a lot of like energy, and it's bouncy and it's a happy word. Like it just has a happy sound to it. So yeah. And then creativate.com was already taken. So it turned into growwithcreativate.com is the website. So some Australian company took it.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
That is, I like it. No, thank you so much for sharing the background. So I remember I had to ask about it, and I'm like, that is so cool. So I felt like anyone out there listening had to know kind of what got you started and why it means that. So thank you.
Yeah. Ask away. Throw in any random questions off of that on our list too.
Yeah, I love the value too that it has behind it. It's not just like this creative little, put these words together. Like it really encompasses what you believe, which is great going into any type of business deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I think you need to, as business owners, especially in manufacturing, you can't be all things to all people. So I think it's important to pick words to associate with your company that are true to your value system. So anyways, I'll get off the soapbox on that because I could jump on that all day long, but yeah.
I love it. And it helps build transparency too with your clients. So
yeah,
I love it. So thank you for sharing that. And just kind of diving in. So you have worked in the past with both multi-million, multi-billion dollar B2B companies. Can you talk to us about some key lessons you've learned from those experiences that you believe would be valuable lessons for small businesses and manufacturers?
Well, I alluded to this earlier, but sometimes the people that have it together aren't the ones that you think. And sometimes the people that are a hot mess aren't the ones that you think either. So what I've found through the years of working for everything from like a micro business all the way to a massive multi-billion dollar company, a lot of times people think big companies, big budgets. There's like all this money that they're throwing around. That is not always the case. Sometimes huge companies do not have the big budgets that you would think for marketing. So sometimes it's surprising who's being super scrappy. And then sometimes you have small companies who, and I'm saying this not necessarily on the employer side, but or as an employee, but also what we see within clients and things like that too. Sometimes smaller companies understand the value of marketing and they invest almost as much, if not more, than some of these huge companies, but they see a higher return. So it's one of those things that it's like what you put into it is what you get out of it. And the other thing that I see a lot of in terms of lessons is that, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. No. Well, anyways, that was my biggest one that you see is it's not always who you think is has it together does.
Right.
And the other thing too is marketing, regardless of size or organization, especially in manufacturing, tends to be undervalued because a lot of times it is B2B. But at the end of the day, it's all H to H. It's human to human. So you are marketing from a business to another business, yes, but you are trying to get a hold of a person at that company, whether it's procurement, sales, whatever. Like you're trying to get a hold of someone else. So all of your marketing still needs to be, as I mentioned, true to your brand, true to you, true to your products and services. And people can smell authenticity regardless of the size of the company. So if something is not authentic, it's not going to resonate. So it's surprising. Sometimes you think there's huge company equals huge budget, huge department, all that. It's just not always the case. So it's also fun to see too how some of the differences between publicly traded companies versus family-owned businesses or privately held businesses. I love the legacy portion of family businesses, and there's always the cultures there are always really special and really unique. So I always encourage companies that are like that to market that. That's a huge advantage now, especially that so much is being outsourced and overseas, and now especially with all the supply chain issues over the last few years, we're looking at bringing so much more back to the States again. And I think that the companies that are still either made in the USA, family owned and operated, they're going to have a huge advantage in the coming months and years ahead. So I think that's really important to market. And I think that being a small business actually can have quite a few more advantages than being a large business with agility and all that. So it's my little rabbit trail / soapbox of why marketing how marketing looks at different companies and some of the strengths and weaknesses. I've just heard, it's just sad to me. I've heard too many family-owned companies say, well, we're too small, we can't do that. And I'm like, no, you're small, so you should be doing that.
Right.
So it's about taking the narrative and spinning it.
Like dispelling the different myths out there, like just because like you think that you can't, like you should, and it's really invaluable. And I also just love going back. I've never heard that it's, you know, B2B or B2C, but it's H to H. Like you're trying to talk to a human. And I just thought that was super powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I see too is like, I think with small businesses and again, in manufacturing, like it is H to H. And I see so many just dull, boring marketing efforts, and you got to be different. You got to be unique. You got to be memorable.
Right.
So I think a lot of times companies understand that marketing could be valuable and they throw some spend into it, but they're not, honestly, not doing it well, and you don't get that ROI that you'd like to see. So yeah, being memorable from human to human is extremely important.
Agreed.
Going off of being memorable human to human, do you have like any favorite marketing tactics that you've done for businesses that you're like, man, this was such a fun one, just like a really cool example that you'd like to share?
I have one that I always share, and I apologize to anyone who's ever heard me before talk, because you're going to hear me talk about it again. So I actually just came back from, my voice is a little raspy. I just came back from the International Roofing Expo in Las Vegas, so where I talked for like 3 days straight. So it's coming back. My voice is coming back. But especially at trade shows, a lot of trade shows, especially manufacturing, tend to be, well, we're there because we have to go, and your absence is greater than your presence. And are we really getting value out of it? And how do we get value out of it? And so a lot of companies just send the same booth every year. They kind of do whatever the usual is. They play it safe. But you know, you're spending a lot of money between your booth costs, your freight, drayage, labor setup, all that stuff, your hotel costs, flights, sending your people, cost of time, all of it. And I believe that if you're going to bother going, make something memorable and different. So one year, a product line I was working on had their, I believe it was like their 35th anniversary or something like that of being in business. And the product line was founded in 1979. Well, when we looked at our target audience and our target personas, a lot of those individuals were males in their 50s and 60s. And so we said, what resonates with these guys? I'm going to say guys because it's a bunch of guys. And everything in 1979 is like very nostalgic for them, and they loved it. So we did a whole 1979 themed booth. We gave away record players. We only had top hits from 1979 playing. I redid the whole booth in retro. Like I had an orange shag rug in the middle of the booth. I had vinyls on the walls. I got the brown and orange wallpaper. It looks like what's on that 70s show. Wallpaper for the whole booth. We got, I actually went thrift shopping and got a bunch of like end tables and some furniture. That was easy to find from the 70s that we set up in the booth. We had a blast, and people would literally just come and hang out in the booth, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And they wanted to be there because it was so fun and different.
Right.
So while all of our competitors were over there doing their usual, you know, white walls and some pretty graphics and that type of thing, we said, let's double down and go all in. And it was so much fun and so memorable. And we had a blast with it. Like we ended up spinning it off into a whole like retro campaign where we made all of our ads for a few months look like they were from 1979. And we did like a little retro logo, and we did all kinds of stuff. And it was like a blast from the past, but it was so much fun. So I still remember that, and people still remember it if you mention it to this day. That was probably back in, well, I guess I could do the math, but I won't try to do that live. 2016, 2017, I don't know. So yeah, that was my favorite one. So it's like dare to do something just a little bit different and a little bit memorable. And if you're your own target audience, that makes it really easy because it's like, what would I want to see? What would I want to go be a part of? And if you don't know, ask your target, bounce ideas off your target audience and your people and say, which one's cool to you?
Yes.
That is so cool. And I imagine, I mean, you guys just had so much fun getting that all set up as you're talking about. Did you feel like you saw like a lot more traffic? I mean, you were like, okay, they're going to like 1979. And like you said, like your booth always seemed busy compared to like the regular. So you stepped outside of the box, and it definitely like paid off, and like you benefited from that and taking that chance and taking that risk, it sounded like.
Yeah, the only downer is some people that you don't want to linger in your booth are going to linger in your booth. And you're like, get out of here. Someone else wants to sit in the wooden tweed covered chair, okay? Like, so that was, I would say that was the only downer, but yeah, it was fun. And record players are, I forget what they were, 50, $70. Like they weren't huge for giveaways, and we could mail them back to people and then they go home and have a record player waiting for them. And, it was fun. It was,
different.
Just different.
It's different. Yeah. You have to make an impact on people, because look at everything we have now, like, yeah, we are very thoughtful with our energy and our time now, right? So it's like, where am I going to put that in? When you're walking through those halls of the shows, I mean, it's so easy to just kind of skim by places because it's just a banner and not much going on. So I love that. What a great move. Great move.
Yeah. I love doing it's still safe, but it's just a little off or different. I did a mailer one time where we put everything in a shiny envelope, like a shiny padded blue shiny envelope. And if you get a manila envelope, you'll probably throw it out. I tell you what, if you get a shiny, test me on this, but the next time you get a shiny mailer, tell me that's not the first thing you're going to open. I do.
I honestly love that because I love getting mail. I love mailers. Like, I think it's like fun. Like, I want to do more mailers, and people are like, I want to do them and get mail. But I'm like, I get excited. Like, if I get like someone sending me mail, I just think it's fun. So I'm like, man, it's shiny. But like, you're right. Like, if it's a white envelope, like I'm like, oh, bill, or what is this? Trash. But if it's shiny, I mean, I'm going to be interested. So that.
Clever.
We all have a little bit of this shiny object syndrome is what I call it. And so I make it like a literal shiny object. But I mean, to that point, like you said, Megan, everything is digital now and we have it all. So I know I do a lot of digital marketing and inbound marketing, but man, I'm a sucker for a good journal. I mail out journals to people. I love sending physical things in the mail, and people we still love that. And we don't get it anymore. Handwritten notes go a long way. I'm giving you all my secrets now, but I mean, sometimes it's like, it doesn't have to be that radical either. It just has to be really intentional and really thoughtful.
Yeah. How do you make it more personal? Like, I want to build this relationship with you because it is human to human.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's 3 ideas, I guess. The go retro or a little bit different, find a shiny object and make it really personal and old school sometimes.
Love that.
We're just taking all your secrets. So thank you so much for sharing it. You guys heard it here live.
Exactly. Go forth and prosper. It'll be great.
Thank you. All right. So learning a little bit about your business and some of your core beliefs, I saw they emphasize the importance of creativity. You talked about data-driven decisions and continuous improvement. How have these beliefs shaped your approach to marketing strategy over the years?
I think the biggest thing with is continuous improvement. So I hear this all the time. Well, tell me what's going to work. What's going to work? Whatever worked for this person might not work for this person. And so you have to continuously be evolving and looking at, quite frankly, everything you do all the time. So what worked 2 years ago may not work now. I'm so sick of talking about the pandemic, but look at what happened during the pandemic. I mean, if we look at our marketing strategies in February of 2020, those shifted fast, like on a dime into April. I had to drop all of our paid campaigns because it would seem insensitive to be pushing our products when people were dying. Fortunately, we were deemed an essential business as an industrial pump manufacturer. And so we shifted we basically ditched our whole marketing plan for the year and shifted into, we're not promoting our products. We're more just kind of letting people know how we're supporting the pandemic. So one of our customers was Purell. So we talked a lot about how our pumps and their parts were going into the making of hand sanitizer. And then we featured a winery that bought a bunch of our pumps because they changed from making wine into making sanitization products. So it turned so fast. And we saw during the pandemic that the people that were able to pivot quickly were the ones that thrived. So that's why, like any of our clients, we don't actually, in our team, we're not really a big fan of just the rinse and repeat stuff. We like to try new things. We like to experiment with stuff. We're always looking at how we can constantly improve and grow. And that's true with manufacturing too. I mean, you look at Kaizen boards and all that out there on the plant floor, and you've got all types of continuous improvement opportunities. So that's where I think it's really fun, where normally you think marketing and water could be like marketing and manufacturing could be like oil and water, and they don't mix. They absolutely do have a lot of similarities. And what were the other two items you said? I caught the continuous improvement one.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
it was creativity and data-driven decisions.
And I think we talked a little bit about creativity with the last one. Data-driven decisions. We are at such a cool point in marketing right now where before we only had a billboard. You had a magazine ad, and unless someone called you up and said, hey, I saw you on a billboard, which is not going to happen very often in industrial manufacturing, you don't really know where your marketing dollars were going. You kind of put them out there on a hope and a prayer and hope that it worked. What's the old phrase? I know half my marketing is working. I just don't know which half.
Yeah.
That's not as true anymore as it used to be. So now, especially with digital marketing, so I'm a HubSpot partner because I love being able to connect all the dots. And you can do that really well on the HubSpot platform, where you can say, hey, here's my ads that I'm putting out. Here's my social media posts. Here's the emails. And you can connect all the dots and follow the entire customer journey start to finish. That data is not only critical for marketing, so you're not spending money and flushing it and wasting it, but it's also critical for sales to know. Accounting loves that kind of stuff because then you can say, economy goes downturn. They come to marketing first. We're going to cut you. I'm like, well, that's a bad idea because that 100,000 you're spending on marketing is generating $2.1 million in business. Whoops. Yeah, we're not cutting that. Yeah, I didn't think so. So that stuff really helps determine and make more informed decisions that can really help you grow. It's still not perfect, obviously, and we probably never will be able to ever completely capture what's being done in marketing and how it helps you grow. But it's definitely way light years ahead. And I love data-driven decisions. That's my accountant left brain side coming out. But yeah, I love when you can, I love being able to track all those data points together to tell the whole story of your customer.
And it's so true. There's so much out there that nowadays where you can really, really track the ROI and like see like what is working, and hopefully then, know what not to take away and what to like kind of double down on, as you were talking about.
Yeah. Because you don't want to take away the wrong thing.
Right.
So, and as marketers, especially if you're a full-time marketer, that's job security too, to be able to say, hey, here, look, what I'm doing is resonating. And I'll tell you what, there's not a single C-suite in this country that's not going to want someone to come to them and say, hey, look, I have some dashboards for you. I have some reports for you that show you how your spend, with the return you're getting on your spend. I mean, you want to light up someone's face and become their new favorite, go do that as a marketer. I mean, they'll fall over backwards. So yeah.
It sounds like you're a HubSpot partner, but do you have, so a lot of our manufacturers or solo entrepreneurs are really, really small, and they're really just like diving into marketing. They're getting on some social. Do you have a platform that you would recommend, or just like an easy tracking of like the top 2 or 3 things that maybe they should be tracking to see if their marketing is becoming success?
That's a good question.
Sorry,
yeah, no, that's okay. Throw all the curveballs. They're fun. I mean, we use a lot of HubSpot. It is more of an investment, but you also, in some ways, you get what you pay for. Right. I mean, when I started out, I got into it very quickly as a solopreneur myself, just because I was able to track everything. I think the biggest thing is find your why behind anything you're doing. Why am I posting on social media? Why am I posting on that platform? Who am I going after? Where do they hang out? I think there's so much, we do a lot of paid advertising, yes. And that's kind of like the quick hit, the quick fix. But if focusing on thought leadership is so much more valuable than going out and just buying an ad. So if you're a solopreneur and you're just starting up, but thought leadership's the best thing you can possibly do to market yourself. So I know public speaking is the number 1 fear in America, but go talk to your local Rotary, or go talk to wherever people are hanging out that may possibly be interested in what you have to say. And it's not a product pitch. You never make a product pitch right away. You just talk about lessons you've learned, the value you have to offer. I love lists. I love like top 5 lists or top 10 things that you should know, or checklists, or you can even do checklists of things to look for when you're looking for someone who's searching for your product or service. So, checklist of 20 things you need to ask before hiring a marketing company is something I could use. So I think knowing your why, and then My other suggestion in terms of marketing is to lean into your network. Your network, I hate the phrase your network, your net worth. I think Gen Z has just destroyed that. But there is a lot of value to it. Like I've grown my company to the point it's gotten to so quickly, mainly through networking and through referrals.
Right.
So I know that's not like, here's your plan. You're going to do 3 posts a week and you're going to do 1 email blast a month. I mean, you don't know. And everyone's company is different. The people you're marketing to are all different. So you just get started and kind of through the process of trial and error, you find out what works for you. We were doing a monthly newsletter for our company and it just got to be a lot to put together really quality information every month. So rather than just putting something together for the sake of putting it together, we now do it every other month. Just because it didn't seem to affect our recipients' engagement at all. And it's one less email in people's inboxes, but then when they do get it, they know there's going to be some good info in there. And we get a little bit cheesy and corny in ours too. Like we make fun dad jokes and stuff like that in our newsletter. It doesn't have to be boring. Again, back to being memorable, just be memorable and be authentic. But we are cheesy and corny and we do make dad jokes. So that works for us.
So if we need another dad joke, or we need to learn the dad jokes, we just need to join your newsletter.
Yes. We have our next one coming out next week. So wait, I can't do the heart. Valentine's Day-ish. There we go. Thank you. I'm a Swiftie. I should be knowing how to do this. Okay. Look at that. Yes, I love that.
We'll make sure to put that link. So anyone that's listening that wants to join and hear all about the new dad jokes and some different marketing tips and tricks, we'll make sure to link that in the bio. So no, thank you. So know your why and network. I think those are really great things that our solopreneurs and manufacturers can take away from this. Sliding in, I wanted to talk about AI technologies. I know that you're partnered with Jasper AI, and I wanted to just kind of hear how they are revolutionizing the manufacturing industry and assisting businesses in streamlining their operations and enhancing marketing efforts, and how you really utilize AI technologies.
Do you remember, I think it was around like 2008 or something like that. Everyone said paper's dead. We're not using paper anymore. Paper is dead. That was it. I want to go back even further. The internet, oh, it's scary. It's going to take down the world. I mean, it seems like every 10 years, there's something that comes through that's kind of disruptive and everyone starts talking. And AI is definitely that platform or that technology of this decade for sure. Yeah. The difference is that AI is going to stick. So like it or not, AI is sticking around. I just saw a commercial last night, even for Expedia has partnered with ChatGPT to go through, to allow you to say, hey, I want to sit with a nice view on the beach with my pet and it's wheelchair accessible or something like that. And it like recommended hotels that were within a 4-hour driving distance. I mean, I'm like, wow, mind blown, right? So I think it's just like anything else. And there's different types of AI. I just sat through a really actually awesome speech by David Pogue, who's a CBS correspondent on Sunday morning, talking about all the different types of AI and its evolution and how we got to where we are. But basically, we are really, really close to it being at the processing speed of what we can come up with. I know you've seen, there's always some mistakes. AI is not good with like hands and fingers and bodies and things like that. It messes that up. People will have like 8 fingers on one hand and they're probably coming out of their ear or something weird. But we're really close to it being actually really helpful and really useful. Like I the other day just looked on the Microsoft version of what a roof tear off looks like. And it had like these big velociraptors like flying around a roof and like 18 guys in a little tiny space, like all with shovels ripping off a roof. I'm like, close, but not quite. Like it's almost there. So basically, so you have these like big concept things. We hear about deep fakes. We hear about all of that now. And yes, that part's dark and scary. It's like the internet. There's dark and scary parts out there. There's also a lot of good that comes from it. So in the case of manufacturers, especially solopreneurs, AI can be an extremely useful tool in terms of productivity. So I'll give a couple examples. We started using Read AI because it's like $20 a month. It not only gives out, and this is a plug for Read AI, completely unpaid. It not only will give you a summary of your meeting and record the video, but it will also give you who said what, who committed to do what, and next steps. And then before the meeting, the following week, if it's a recurring meeting for me, it will send me a reminder of everything that we discussed, who's doing what next, and it will send all your participants that as well.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Assistant.
like, right? Like talk
Yeah.
about a time saver, you know? So you mentioned Jasper. So we became Jasper partners. It's much more robust platform. They're growing like crazy. It's kind of similar to HubSpot. So if you're not familiar with HubSpot, HubSpot has it's a CRM, and they have these hubs that are all connected to it. So your HubSpot is your portal, and you can go in and you customize it. Jasper is kind of set up the same way. So you have a portal, you go in, and the more you use it, the more it learns from you and it becomes specific to you. So like Chat GPT, I know people love it, but every time you go in there, you're starting from scratch and you're using outdated data. Jasper from like, what is it? 2021, 2020. I can't remember what the cutoff point is for Jasper right now, or for Chat GPT. The Jasper, you can go in and you can upload your brand voice. You can upload your tone. It will learn how you talk and how you speak based on previous inputs. So it can be really handy. It doesn't do all the work for you, but it can definitely shorten your time and be more efficient. So for example, if I have a blog post outlined and I go through and I type in like, here are the 10 things I want to highlight or talk about. I want it to be in a professional tone, going to other business people, whatever. It will go through and it will write it for me. And then I go back in and I make some tweaks and some edits and some changes. It's still my thoughts. Like it's still my opinions, my viewpoints. It was still my list. You can even ask it to write the list if you wanted to, but it's still my list. And it just saved me a ton of time from having to go through and do what I was already going to do.
Right.
And in terms of like learning models, what's amazing is we talked about data earlier. So in the future, and even now, AI is being used to read different data points and put together a story or a summary for you. Whereas before you would have had to go through, match them all up yourself. So you could say, here's my, my output in manufacturing. Here's the top line sales. Here's what marketing is doing. It can now combine it all for you and give you the analytics and the output that you need. So it's just like any other tool. Like you use it the right way, it can be really powerful. It can be really good. So we're really excited about Jasper. They only started, I forget, 4 or 5 years ago. I think they added like 60 more people last year. Are going to add a ton. I mean, they are growing crazy. So we know there's a huge need for it. But especially as a solopreneur, there's a lot of tools like that you can use to maximize and make your time really efficient. Canva is also building in more AI tools. I know a lot of solopreneurs use Canva. Shoot, we use Canva. Like we admit it. Before it used to be like a scary thing you talk about. You were like, no, I don't use Canva. But now, or I'm a marketer. But no, they did another round of funding last year, and their tools keep getting better and better. And you can do really cool things now, like come up. So you can use like Jasper to come up with your list of what you want your social media posts to be. And you have your brand standards and your guide and everything in there. And then you can put it all into Canva and it will auto generate, 10 posts with these types of images. Here's all my text, and it'll auto generate all that for you. So if you look at it, it's still your thoughts. It's still your directive. It's just efficiency. Who doesn't love efficiency, especially in the manufacturing world? So yeah.
Exactly. And I know Megan can agree with us. I feel like the biggest thing I think we hear from all solopreneurs, manufacturers, business, like they don't have any time. So anything that's going to help cut down their time because they are so busy and reduce that time and take some of that off. I mean, these are tools, virtual assistants that you can really start taking advantage of, and they're here to stay and they're not going anywhere. It's just only getting better and better. So I really appreciate it. And I know we're right at the top of the time, but I do like to kind of ask one last question. Is what you're most looking forward to this year with your business, with Creative 8? Like, what are you most looking forward to kind of unpack, and how can people get a hold of you, reach out to you if people want to connect with you?
I am excited. Here's something good that came out of the pandemic. People realized that marketing has value for their company. Marketing was the only way you could get a hold of your prospects and your customers during COVID. That was it. And it became so clear over the last 3 years, kind of who had it together and who didn't. And the ones that got it together, I love seeing how far they've come now because they are starting so far ahead. So my biggest thing this year is I've just been so excited to see how many people over the last few years we've been able to help them grow and help them leverage and utilize marketing in such a powerful way. My biggest tip is every day that goes by and you're not doing marketing, you're not doing it right, is another day that you are losing potential customers. So, what day is better to start than today? Any day that ends in Y, during the week is a good day to start marketing if you're not doing it already. So if you want to get a hold of me, I love chatting with people. If you just even want to bounce ideas around, like I'm passionate about small businesses and passionate about female-owned businesses. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, so you can follow me over there. And then my website is growwithcreativate.com. You can fill out the form on there if you want to get in touch with me. And I've got links to my calendar and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us and do this live for us. We'll make sure to have those links so people can follow you and connect with you and, sign up for your newsletter for all those fun dad jokes. I know we took a lot out of it. So just thank you so much for your time and for being here. And everyone, please feel free to join us. We do this every other Thursday, and we'll have a great local manufacturer lined up for the end of the month in February. So thank you guys all so much, and happy Thursday.
Thank you.